A lot of breakdowns going down right now about the Mythic Plus season. We're going to check out the numbers, see how that's all currently looking. Also, all the things happening this week. People are going to get really geared really quick this week for a bunch of reasons that I'm going to lay out here in a second, and some more midnight news, of course. So let's just jump straight in. Here we go. Oh, watching the news? No, you're not. You're watching the next big giveaway. That's right. I'm giving away an epic edition of Midnight. All you have to do to enter into my giveaway is get into the stream. 1 hour of stream will give you 1 point to enter into the giveaway. Watching this shitty stream is all it's going to take. I'm live 5 a.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Get in here, watch some stream, get yourself some Trader's Tenders, some pets, some mounts, and all the other cool early access features that'll come with the Midnight Epic Edition. Again, being a follower is all you got to do, and watching the stream. If you're a subscriber, you'll get a couple extra entries, but not required. You'll get all the mounts, the game time, the toys, and early access to the expansion, housing access, everything else. It's going to be a good one, boys. Midnight's here. WoW is back. The hype is real. Get in here, watch the stream, get your point, and every hour beyond that, another point to enter into the giveaway, giving yourself the best shot possible. The giveaway ends September 19th. You got a month to gather as many points as you can to enter in and get yourself the epic edition of Midnight. Buckle up, boys. It's going to be a good one. The Mana Forged Omega Raid Wingfinder 3 is now open. For those of you who don't participate in LFR, it's not a big deal. For those of you who do, great. You're going to get some good gear. Also, there is some decent gear to be had from killing these bosses in the final version of the wing here. We got, as you see, what is this? 678 gear dropping. So there's still some slots that need to be filled by some people that you can get that kind of high-level gear in. Also, it's a good way to kind of rank up your renown track right now, and I'll talk about that here in a second. This week we get the buff from the Renown track, so that's also a good way to get that done. Also, upgrading your Reshi Wraps. Final upgrade, boys. The final week of upgrading the Reshi Wraps is here. You will now be at eye level 730. Hopefully you have the macro already set up so you don't have to go out to the vendor to get this thing done. But you need to get, first off, your 3 pieces of currency this week, your ethereal strands. Again, you get those things from just playing the game, essentially. Completing warrant quests, chests at the end of delves, raid bosses, bosses from War Within, Mythic Plus dungeons, and obtaining wins in PvP. So just playing the game and being a winner is going to get you a bunch of those. All you need is 3. You do your final upgrade. With your final upgrade, we're also going to get a transmog this week. That's right. You'll get this nice little helm here and the shoulders, so you can cosplay as your favorite ethereal, the class that we clearly should have gotten with Midnight. Instead, we got the Horonir, so this is going to be the best we can do for now. What are we going to say? 3% damage buff coming in. As I mentioned, if you want to use LFR to get this thing, you can, but you just got to go in, kill a few bosses. Also, you can do this, by doing any difficulty in the raid. Getting to that rank 4 will now give you a 3% healing and damage buff in the raid. So great for everybody. Remember, this thing will eventually max out at 15% buff by the end of the whenever this renown track ends. So we're getting our first buff this week. That should help finally get past some of the bosses that everybody's stuck on. So there you go. Yeah, woo, more damage. Yeah, and more healing. Easier to get your 4 set this week. That's right. Catalyst charges are also available. So that's why I'm saying, like, this week we should see some meaningful progress in raids, because everyone's going to get pretty geared this week. You're getting the catalyst charge, you're getting your Reshi Wraps upgraded, you're getting the bonus from the Renown track. There's a ton of big buffs happening this week to the player base that'll get you past some of those bosses. Yeah, go to the Matrix, upgrade your gear, get that 4th piece of tier set. I have a problem right now because I don't want to use the catalyst on anything but heroic track gear, and I have not gotten a single fucking drop from the damn raid. I might have in my vault waiting for me right now, but I have not won a single roll in raid. So I'm sitting here with no heroic level gear right now. Maybe I should have ran Mythic Plus 2 weeks ago, but I didn't. And I haven't used any of my catalyst charges. So I'm sitting with a 2 set and 2 catalyst charges ready to go, but no gear that I want to really upgrade with it. So sometimes patience pays off. It's better to wait rather than use this shit on random stuff. Samiccus, a lot of chatter in the forum and Reddit about how disappointing Legion Remix is. Really? I thought, I mean, look, I don't know what to say. I think a lot of people are mad about the Mage Tower, but for the most part, I mean, from what I've seen, the cosmetics and the mounts are S tier. And that's all I care about. I don't give a shit about the gameplay side of Legion Remix. I want to get in there and just get my mounts and get my cosmetics and get the hell out. So I don't know what people are complaining about, but anyways, should have ran a tier 8 delve, bro. Yeah, that was another mistake on my part. You're right. I should have done those. Should have listened to Greg from accounting and just ran some delves. Oh, well. Anyways, a new Skymaster transmog also available this week because the Eastern Kingdoms Cup is back. Did you guys know this was happening? This kind of showed up on my feed, and I had no idea that the cups were coming back. Well, anyways, it's the Eastern Kingdoms Cup. If you don't know what this is, you got to go run around the Eastern Kingdoms, complete the 16 skywriting races, and you can get yourself a nice little achievement, which will give you a new transmog. That's right, a new variation on the other transmogs that we got in past cups. This is a blue colorway. Some actually cool shoulders. I don't know who the hell would use this unless you're RPing as a Naga, but the shoulders are pretty damn cool, and the tabard's not bad. So get in, ride your dragon, bareback of course, and get these races completed to get this transmog. We also have a March on Quel'Danas raid coming up, guys. We already know this, the big raid that's happening in midnight, and we know that we're getting 3 raids in the expansion. But what does that mean? Are we getting all of them at once? Are we getting a few here, a few there? Well, you know Blizzard's favorite thing to do is time gate, just a little bit. And I'm not upset about this, okay? But they did say that they are going to kind of time gate this in terms of how this is going to release. We're getting 3 raids, okay? The Void Spire, the Dream Rift, and the March on Quel'Danas. Now, there's some big story beats Blizzard has hinted at that are going to happen in these raids that basically lead into everything else that's happening in Midnight, specifically from the Void Spire to the March on Quel'Danas. There's like some big story moments in this that need to be played in order. So what Blizzard said they're going to do is essentially you're going to get the Void Spire and the Dream Rift to release first, which will give you, we got 6 bosses in here and a single boss fight. So that means we'll have 7 bosses available as soon as the season kicks off. You'll be able to play through that. And then the final 2 bosses, the March on Quel'Danas, will not release until roughly 2 to 3 weeks later. Eventually, when it's all open, you're going to be doing all the raids because all of it is part of that season's tier, right, of gear. So you can't just start running, speed running Quel'Danas over and over because you're not going to be able to gear out properly if you only do that. All of the gear spread out through the entirety of all these raids is going to be what you're going to want to use. But that final set or that little, item level bump from those last couple pieces of gear like we see right now from the last couple bosses in the Mana Forged Omega raid are going to come from this raid. So I'm excited to see where the story is going to go. I don't mind the 2 to 3 weeks. I'm fine with, 2 raids being open, 7 bosses for 2 to 3 weeks. I'm fine with grinding those out, getting those done, and then the last 2 opening up. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, time gating is, it's a thing. It's a thing, and I understand that Blizzard wouldn't want this open before this. They could have probably done a quest line where you got to complete the Void Spire before you can go to Quel'Danas, but hey, okay, holding it off for 2 to 3 weeks is their way to do it. That's what their plan is. Also, we have housing, okay? More housing news coming out. Telias and Inevitel did their interview, and I'm just going to kind of sum up some of the stuff they found here because a lot of it was actually quite interesting. First off, exterior designs are going to be a thing for sure. You will be able to customize the outside of your house to piss off your neighbors because you're actually, you got this horrid-looking house in this beautiful neighborhood. And I know some people are going to troll their asses and do this kind of stuff. But anyways, exteriors will be completely customizable. At launch, there will be kits for human, orc, night elf, and blood elf. On top of the kits, you'll be able to use decor in your yard and stuff like that. Besides customizing the outside, you'll be able to pick different shapes of buildings. For instance, we saw a house shaped like a lighthouse. Oh, what you see right there. That's not... Yeah. I'm not going to make any comments. It looks like something else as well. But anyways, you got this phallic thing sticking out in the middle of the neighborhood. In Horde neighborhoods, you will be able to build Alliance-themed houses and vice versa. Oh, man, I can already see it. I can already see it. There's a house in the neighborhood. An orc moved in. Be like, oh, I remember when this neighborhood used to be a safe place. We got orcs moving in. Anyways... You'll be able to, I guess, build Horde-themed buildings in Elwyn Forest and build human-themed buildings in Duratar. So there you go. There isn't really an Alliance versus Horde thing going on here. It's just neighborhoods being neighborhoods. I can't wait to make either a giant Tauren TP or a Goblin Junkyard a la Sanford. I guarantee that these are eventually going to be available. All the Goblin, the Tauren, and everything else. Yes, those are going to happen for sure. But for now, you got to kind of got the core races getting the houses there. Neighborhoods, zone size spaces. So yeah, they're huge. We already knew this. They're huge. The neighborhoods are massive. We talked about the amount of people being able to be in a neighborhood. It's basically unlimited. We did see limits with guilds, I guess, but obviously there's guild limits in it, so that could happen. There will be a new HUD UI for neighborhoods that allow you to see what's going on in the neighborhood and see available plots similar to realtor sites. You reach your neighborhood through a portal. They are instanced. We already knew this was going to happen. Within WoW Fiction, neighborhoods exist and have a story behind them. Over time, there will be story elements that develop your neighborhood. Blizzard wants neighborhoods to be an expansion of group, not something that is pre-made from the game. While main conflicts won't happen in neighborhoods, there might be world events that have elements happening in neighborhoods. If you guys remember, in the cinematic, they had that void portal opening up and then everyone like unsheathing their swords and grabbing the... That looked like that was a neighborhood. It looked like that was happening in a neighborhood. So maybe some of these void invasions, which I expect to be kind of the pre-patch shit that's going to happen before midnight, or the pre-expansion shit, I guess that could be happening in neighborhoods. You could have invasions in neighborhoods going down. You got to save the neighborhood. Put out the fires with the water buckets and stuff. Who knows? Neighborhoods are sanctuaries, safe environments. No stitches wrecking havoc in a neighborhood. I wonder if you can duel in a neighborhood. And while main conflicts won't happen in neighborhoods, there will be world events, yes. Some plots are isolated, while others are packed closely together. So yeah, that hot goth girl in your guild, she's going to have the house at the, very end all by itself. Leave her alone. Let her have her peace. There will be a UI element that will teleport you to your home. Okay, so a Hearthstone, I'm assuming. The current plan is to have it port you to the front of your plot. Okay, so you still walk into your house. There will be portals back and forth from your neighborhoods to capital cities. I've already heard about this one. Endeavors will allow neighborhoods to invite cultures from Azeroth to their space. You may choose to complete tasks for mechanomes, which cause them to appear more frequently, and build gizmos in public areas. Oh, the mechanomes. Already looting and causing problems, as they always do, building shit all over the neighborhood. What is it called? Why can't I think of the damn word? Freaking whatever that word is for throwing shit in public. My God, my brain's not working up. And the COVID's infected my brain. It's very obvious at this point. Private or guild neighborhoods can designate a neighborhood manager. Oh, God. No, don't do it. And these individuals will decide which endeavor to pick each month. We got HOA. We got an HOA manager. He's going to complain about that freaking fountain that you put at the end of your lot that looks very provocative. Yeah, littering is exactly the word I was thinking of. Decor. Decor will be available for any way that you can acquire loot in the game. Okay, yeah, so doing stuff in the game is going to give you stuff. Midnight will launch with 1,000 pieces of decor. Great. Transmog UI. Sam will be the single beaver inspector. Jesus, I got a drink. Hold on. I am dying to the plague live on stream. It's happening. Is that Samiccus or Batman? Yeah, I'm Batman. Where's what? Jesus. Short stream in a few. No, I'm going all the way. I don't feel like I'm in pain. I don't feel sick. It's just the throat is getting all fucked up. Yeah, that's what's happening. Where's Jesus? Yeah, I was going to say, where's Rachel? But I couldn't get it out. Okay. Transmog. The Transmog UI is a full overhaul, and with Midnight, we already know that with the different slots happening, so you'll be able to create an outfit that you put on whenever you go into your house. So yeah, get ready to put on the full Murloc fursuit. That'll be a lot of people doing that. Future development for player housing in neighborhoods. Blizzard's easier to hear feedback, blah, blah, blah. There isn't a undo button right now, stuff like that. Okay, copy, paste strings, we've already heard about this. Yeah, so a lot of cool stuff coming with player housing. I didn't expect so much variety in terms of neighborhoods. Being able to put an orc hut in the middle of a human neighborhood, interesting choice. You're probably going to get some hate for that one. Mooses are coming back. That's right. With 11.2.5, we're going to see mooses returning to the trading post. If you don't remember, at the end of Legion, moose runs were a big thing. Now it's returning on the trading post. You're going to have 4 different colorways, each of these costing 500 traders tender. Oh, man. The white moose looks, the albino moose. I'm going for that. Lots of cool looking mooses. Yeah, if you've been a moose fan, you always wanted the moose mount. You can get yourself 4 different ones for some Trader's Tender now. Okay, Mythic Plus Season 3. Let's see what the numbers look like. We're going to break it down, current meta, what people are running, what the most popular classes are, what the most popular dungeons are, current rate of success, and everything like that. So let's look at all this stuff here. Skip over this. The runs, current completed versus timed versus active characters. Okay, that's fine. All right, here we go. This is the first thing I wanted to see. This gives you a decent breakdown of kind of the balance of dungeons, right? Where people are going. Now, we know last season, Season 2, one of the most well-balanced seasons across the board in terms of dungeon difficulty. We saw pretty much an even parse out of people running different dungeons at even rates, while Season 1 was a complete shit show because Miss Tyrannus Scythe was just being run like at an extreme rate compared to the other dungeons because people considered it to be the easiest one. First off, looks like Operation Floodgate is people's favorite right now. Operation Floodgate, I guess, is seen as the easiest one. We see the most completed here and the most timed as well, so that one seems to be the favorite. The Tazavesh dungeons are at the bottom. They're not people's favorite, it looks like. Those seem to be the hardest ones. Now, I will say, for the most part, it looks like you got Operation Floodgate, Ecodome Eldani in the lead, and then the rest kind of even out. There isn't much of a difference between the rest of these. So you got 2 basically taking the lead in terms of favorites, and then everyone else playing the other ones at a decently equal rate here. Peppermint ice cream is a crime. I love peppermint ice cream. And peppermint mochas, only during Christmas time, of course. Besides that, we also see key level split. So let's see what key levels people are running. It looks like right now the highest keys being pushed are probably 12 on a normal rate here. And then we see the time level as well. But plus 10s are the favorite. Obviously, people going for the maxed out vault and everything like that. So plus 10s are where it's at. That's where people are pushing the highest. We see a lot of 6s, 7s, and 8s as well that seem to be popular. And then for me, honestly, the entry level is always a 4. That's kind of always where I try to start. So that's always why I think a lot of people see it that way. So that's why you see a little peak there. In terms of in-time percentage, obviously a little drop off. Actually 14 getting a little bit of a bump here. But again, 10 seems the most popular. 4 and 6s, decently safe rate of completion. So again, if you want to go in and learn tanking routes or something the way I do, yeah, that's probably your safe zone there in terms of actually getting the keys done and learning a little bit at the same time. And then we see here seasonal comparisons. Okay, looking at the numbers, we're better than Season 2. Maybe it's some midnight hype built in here. Yeah, maybe there's some good stuff happening. People are getting back into the game, but we see here Season 1, obviously, usually the most popular season, and then a drop-off for Season 2, and now we're back in Season 3. WoW's back, boys. That's it. We're back. WoW's doing good. Also, really good number of timed runs here. Probably the most of any season. We have the most timed runs right now, so potentially this is the easiest season, you could say, so far of any season in the War Within. So that's good stuff to see. We always want to see an easy season. And then finally here, comparing the seasons across the board, we see Season 1 completed, Season 2, and then Season 3, as I said, by far the most plus 10s completed at this point. So Season 3, yes, certainly looking like the easiest season that we've gotten in this expansion. And now let's look at what people are running with, right? What classes are people choosing to run this shit up with? Well, we have a new king of popularity. Typically, we saw Retribution Paladin leading the way. It's Frost DK. Frost Death Knight is currently the most popular spec we are seeing in Mythic Plus. Interestingly enough, also Resto Shaman, Retribution Paladin, Vengeance Demon Hunter, Resto Druid, Marksmanship there. So we're going to look at the meta. This is the meta right now. You don't just look at the top ones because you obviously got to have a tank and a healer and everything else. But you can already pick out what the most popular healer is. Resto Shaman right now is pumping. People are loving it. Frost DK is broken. Yes, and that shows. That's why it's so popular right now. So looking at these, probably the least popular. We see down here at the bottom, my face is covering some of these, but I'll read them off. Augmentation Evoker right here, Fire Mage, Vengeance, Sub-Titty Rogue, Arms Warrior, Survival Hunter, Outlaw Rogue, Preservation Evoker, Enhancement Shaman, Holy Priest, Feral Druid, Affliction Warlock, and then you got your monks, Mistweaver and Windwalker here. So the other 2 Death Knight specs are also down here, so we're seeing a lot of variety in terms of one single spec from a class just shooting up, and the rest sitting very low. Same with Rogue. You got SS up here, but then the rest down at the bottom. So interesting to look at here. Now let's see in terms of completion rate. what the classes are looking like for the different keys. Now, typically, as you get higher in the key level, this is where you start to see a meta forming. You can't really tell what the meta is here. I will show you it in a second. But right now, you see a lot of variety still happening at a plus 18, which is this bar down here, which is good. That's good to see. That means there isn't really a hard push for any single class. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, Frost DK, look at that. That's a big chunk of what's happening at plus 18s. But you see the same thing happening anywhere else. So you typically see more variety the easier the key gets. But right now, no real meta. But if we had to just pick one out, flat out, the meta class right now, the five-man group that's being run the most, we got Prot Warrior Tank, Resto Shaman, Frost DK, Marksmanship Hunter, and Retribution Paladin. That is your current meta. If you just look at these four are being brought at a consistent rate, even with the top two. The only difference is instead of Prot Warrior, you see Vengeance Demon Hunter showing up here. Besides that, it's looking like, yeah, this is your current. By the way, we also saw Prot Warrior doing a lot when it came to the raid. Right, Race to World's First, Prot Warrior was your go-to tank for a lot of the raid content. So right now, I would say as much as Arms or Fury Warrior seems to be hurting sometimes, Prot is in a really good spot right now. That seems to be the tank that everyone wants to play with. The DPS classes and Resto Shaman. Resto Shaman's just doing really, really good right now. My Prot Warrior was pumping last season. Well, it's pumping harder this season because people are absolutely loving it. We also see some variety in terms of the healing here. We see a Restoration Druid also showing up. Disc Priest, which was your previous season's meta healer, is down much lower now. So we'll see how these pan out as we go further and further into this season. We might see the meta change up slightly. I'll keep that up to date. But for now, that is all in terms of news.